70 million years ago, Earth stood at a turning point that few moments in deep time can rival. The planet was warmer, the seas were higher, and the continents were no longer drifting in isolation. A vast natural bridge had emerged between two colossal landmasses, quietly reshaping the destiny of life on Earth. This was not merely a shift in geography, it was the beginning of one of the most dramatic biological encounters the world has ever known. Two dinosaur empires, forged separately by millions of years of isolation, were about to meet. For tens of millions of years, Asia and North America had evolved like parallel universes. Each continent was home to its own lineages of giants, predators, and survivors. Evolution had sculpted these creatures under different pressures, climates, and rivalries. By 70 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous, a corridor of land began to rise where ocean once ruled. Tectonic forces lifted the seafloor, sea levels fluctuated, and a rugged passage formed between Siberia and Alaska. This region, known today as Beringia, became a biological gateway unlike any before it. The climate of this bridge was nothing like the frozen wasteland imagined today. It was cool but habitable, blanketed with forests of conifers, ferns, and flowering plants. Rivers carved through soft soil, and seasonal light patterns shaped strange rhythms of life. For dinosaurs, this land bridge was not an obstacle, it was an invitation. On the Asian side, dinosaur life had reached a refined peak. Predators were fast, intelligent, and often feathered. Tyrannosaur ancestors had already begun their transformation into apex hunters, their skulls strengthening, their senses sharpening. Packs of smaller theropods moved with coordination and precision. Massive herbivores like hadrosaurs grazed in herds that stretched beyond the horizon, while armored dinosaurs carried living fortresses on their backs. Across the bridge, North America told a different evolutionary story. Its plains were ruled by colossal plant eaters and some of the largest predators the planet had ever produced. Tyrannosaurus rex was emerging as a dominant force, a living embodiment of raw cower. Triceratops defended itself with horns capable of piercing bone. Ankylosaurs wielded tail clubs like siege weapons. Each species had evolved in response to local rivals, locked in an ancient arms race that shaped their bodies and behaviors. When the Continental Bridge formed, these two worlds did not merge peacefully, they collided. The first crossings were slow and uncertain. Herds followed familiar vegetation northward, unaware that every step carried them into a new evolutionary battlefield. Predators followed prey, scavengers followed death. Over generations, migration became permanent. Species that had never encountered one another suddenly competed for the same resources, the same territory, the same survival. This collision triggered a biological upheaval. Asian dinosaurs entered North America with adaptations their local counterparts had never faced. Some were faster, some were more efficient hunters, others reproduced more rapidly or survived harsher seasonal changes. These traits did not simply add to the ecosystem, they challenged it. One of the most significant impacts was seen among predators. Asian tyrannosaur relatives brought new hunting strategies and physical refinements. Their arrival likely influenced the evolution of North American tyrannosaurs, pushing them toward greater size, stronger bites, and heightened sensory awareness. The legendary Tyrannosaurus rex did not evolve in isolation. It was shaped by competition, pressure, and the silent influence of distant rivals crossing a land bridge thousands of kilometers long. Herbivores felt the impact just as deeply. Hadrosaurs migrated in vast numbers, spreading rapidly across continents. Their flexible diets and social behaviors allowed them to dominate landscapes quickly. In response, native herbivores either adapted, migrated or vanished. Evolution accelerated. Natural selection grew ruthless. The land bridge became a filter rather than a highway. Not every species could survive the journey. Harsh seasons, unfamiliar plants, and new predators eliminated the weak. Only the most adaptable crossed successfully. Those survivors reshaped entire ecosystems on the other side. Forests changed as migrating herbivores altered plant distribution. Predators followed these shifts, reorganizing food webs that had been stable for millions of years. The balance of power tilted again and again as species clashed, adapted, and sometimes disappeared entirely. Extinction did not arrive suddenly. It crept forward, generation by generation. This encounter between dinosaur empires also transformed behavior. Defensive structures grew more extreme. Horns curved longer, armor thickened, speed increased. Intelligence mattered more than ever. The presence of unfamiliar threats forced animals to evolve new strategies or perish. The Continental Bridge did more than unite two landmasses. It united evolutionary histories. Traits that had evolved in isolation now intermingled, creating combinations never seen before. This genetic exchange produced some of the most iconic dinosaurs known to science, creatures perfectly tuned for dominance in a rapidly changing world. Yet beneath this explosive diversification lay a quiet instability. Ecosystems pushed to their limits became fragile, competition intensified, specialization increased. The more refined life became, the less forgiving the system grew. The world of 70 million years ago was vibrant, powerful, and dangerously balanced on a knife's edge. The bridge that allowed life to flourish also planted the seeds of vulnerability. By linking continents, it spread not only strength, but dependency. Changes in climate, sea level, or vegetation now rippled across a connected world. Local disruptions no longer stayed local. As the late Cretaceous continued, the dinosaurs stood at the height of their reign. Their empires spanned continents. Their dominance seemed absolute, but the forces shaping them were already moving beyond their control. The same tectonic shifts that raised the bridge would one day sink it. The same interconnected world that fueled evolution would amplify catastrophe. This was the age of giants at their peak, unaware that the bridge beneath their feet was temporary. A fleeting chapter in Earth's history when two dinosaur empires met, clashed, and reshaped life forever. As the two dinosaur empires continued their silent war across the Continental Bridge, new patterns of dominance began to emerge. Predators experimented with hunting tactics previously unseen in either landmass. Some ambushed prey from forested edges, relying on cunning and stealth, while others perfected the art of the chase across open plains. Packs and loosely coordinated groups became common, a behavioral innovation that changed the very dynamics of predation. The bridge itself became a theater of life and death, where survival required more than strength, it demanded strategy. One particularly striking chapter unfolded among the massive herbivores. North American ceratatops, with their intricate horns and massive frills, faced novel competitors from Asia. Hadrosaurs, with advanced social structures, outmaneuvered them, forcing them to adapt or retreat. Armor-plated Ankylosaurs found themselves challenged by creatures that could probe, flip, or bypass their defenses in ways previously unknown. Every encounter, every confrontation, sculpted the anatomy and behavior of these animals over generations. The Continental Bridge acted not just as a pathway, but as a crucible for evolutionary innovation. The arrival of Asian species in North America did not go unnoticed by smaller creatures. Raptors, nimble and intelligent, found themselves in a world where opportunity and danger coexisted in equal measure. They hunted, scavenged, and competed with both native species and the newcomers. These encounters spurred rapid changes in body size, limb structure, and sensory capabilities. Feathered predators began displaying more complex social behaviors, coordinating hunts with a sophistication previously unseen. The evolutionary arms race extended down to these agile hunters, revealing how even the smallest actors played crucial roles in the grand narrative of the bridge. Vegetation itself evolved under pressure from migrating herbivores. Forests, once dominated by slow-growing conifers and cycads, began to see shifts in composition. Plants that could withstand trampling, repeated browsing, and rapid climate shifts thrived. Seasonal flowering and seed production became critical survival strategies. By altering plant distribution, migrating dinosaurs indirectly dictated the fate of entire ecosystems. The interplay between flora and fauna became a sophisticated feedback loop where the survival of one depended on the adaptation of the other. Rivers and wetlands along the bridge presented another set of challenges. These regions acted as natural funnels for migration, concentrating life into corridors where competition intensified. Large predators patrolled riverbanks, ambushing herbivores drawn to water. Nesting sites became contested grounds, and juveniles faced high mortality from both predators and environmental hazards. Yet these same regions became arenas for evolutionary experimentation. Species that thrived here often developed unique adaptations, limb structures suited for wading, enhanced senses for detecting predators, and behaviors for defending or camouflaging nests. The bridge became both a battleground and a laboratory of life. Interestingly, the Continental encounter also influenced the evolution of gigantism. Herbivores, in particular, grew larger as a defensive measure. Predators followed suit, not only to overpower prey, but to assert dominance over rivals. The co-evolution of size, strength, and intelligence reached remarkable heights during this period. The stage was set for some of the most formidable creatures Earth would ever witness. Each species, whether predator or prey, became a living testament to the power of isolation followed by convergence, a process written in bones, footprints, and fossilized forests. Amidst this dynamic, survival required more than physical prowess. Reproductive strategies adapted rapidly. Herds moved together with intricate patterns to protect their young, and social hierarchies became more complex. Predators learned to exploit these social behaviors, coordinating attacks to maximize success. The land bridge was alive with tension, a constant interplay between life, death, and the endless drive to persist. Evolution was both relentless and unforgiving. The bridge also acted as a corridor for gene flow. As species intermingled, hybridization events likely occurred, blending traits across continents. These genetic exchanges created novel forms, some fleeting, others leaving lasting legacies in descendant lineages. Over time, the combined pressures of migration, competition, and environmental change shaped a world that was simultaneously diverse, complex, and fragile. It was a world teetering on the edge, vibrant yet volatile, where every decision, every step across the bridge carried consequences that could echo for generations. Predators became apex not only through raw power, but through adaptability. Some of the most dramatic clashes involved confrontations between top carnivores from different continents. These encounters tested strategies, strength, and intelligence in ways that left lasting marks on anatomy and behavior. Teeth grew larger and sharper, skulls thickened, and sensory organs honed. Survival depended on a combination of instinct, innovation, and sometimes sheer luck. Every predator that thrived here was a product of eons of isolated evolution converging in one violent, breathtaking moment. Meanwhile, herbivores adapted in fascinating ways. Herds became mobile fortresses, relying on numbers for protection. Some evolved elaborate defenses, spiked tails, reinforced frills, or thick armor, while others prioritized speed and maneuverability. Feeding behaviors shifted as well, with groups exploiting seasonal plants more efficiently and even influencing soil composition and forest structure. These changes were not instantaneous. They unfolded over countless generations, yet the cumulative impact reshaped entire continents. Yet the story of the Continental Bridge was not only of competition. Symbiosis and mutual influence flourished in parallel. Certain species formed beneficial relationships, birds and small theropods following herbivores to scavenge insects, or even opportunistic predators learning to coexist with more dominant hunters. Life exploited every niche, every opening, every advantage. The bridge became a corridor not just of conflict, but of innovation, adaptation, and unexpected cooperation. Eventually, the fragile balance of this connected world was tested by climate fluctuations. Seasons became harsher in northern latitudes. Food scarcity challenged both herbivores and predators. Migration patterns adjusted, and survival depended on keen instincts, flexibility, and social coordination. Some species vanished, unable to adapt to the new pressures, while others flourished, their traits refined by a world that demanded constant evolution. The land bridge was a proving ground, a crucible that left no weakness unchallenged. 70 million years ago, the Continental Bridge witnessed the clash of two dynasties, the merging of isolated worlds, and the birth of evolutionary innovations that would echo through time. It was a moment when the Earth's geography and biology converged to create drama on a scale rarely matched in history. Every predator, every herbivore, every forest, river, and plain participated in this grand experiment. It was a fleeting era of wonder, peril, and unmatched beauty. As the late Cretaceous advanced, the bridge remained a symbol of connection and transformation. It reminded the world that isolation breeds diversity, that contact sparks change, and that the grand tapestry of life is shaped by both opportunity and challenge. When the land masses eventually drifted apart and the bridge vanished beneath rising seas, the legacy of this encounter endured. Species carried forward the lessons learned, the innovations honed, and the evolutionary scars etched by millions of years of interaction. This chapter in Earth's history is more than a story of survival. It is a testament to the power of convergence, the drama of empire, and the relentless force of life pushing towards complexity. The Continental Bridge of 70 million years ago was a stage where two dinosaur empires met, clashed, and forever altered the trajectory of life. It stands as one of the most remarkable stories ever written in bones, footprints, and the silent memory of the Earth itself, a story of giants, of empires, and of the unyielding drive to endure.